Someone took a real cheap shot at Amaury Vergara, and we're going to talk about it. On top of that, Ricardo Marín slipped up and accidentally confirmed he's headed to Chivas. Meanwhile, it looks like Hugo Camberos is staying with the sacred flock. So yeah, stick with me because we're going to talk about this and a few other things coming up. I'm Jesus Bernal and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining me to talk about the latest with Chivas and everything going on around the sacred flock. Without further ado, let's get into this video with the latest Chivas news. Alright, so it really looks like Hugo Camberos is going to stay with Guadalajara. Yeah, a player who clearly didn't get that many minutes last tournament under Gabi Milito. For different reasons, we should say that. There were a few factors. First, the kid never really found a natural position. They tried him up top, they tried him as a wingback, and it seems like he didn't quite win them over. But there's another thing worth mentioning too. The constant U20 call-ups, the mini camps he did with the U20s, and the World Cup. Obviously, that kept him from spending a few weeks with the team and it made it harder for him to get more minutes under Gabi Milito. In fact, it looks like both he and Yael Padilla were basically frozen out after the World Cup. It makes a certain amount of sense because they weren't training, so considering his quality, considering his youth, the front office and the coaching staff feel he can take on a bigger role next tournament and it won't just be handed to him, he has to earn it. So the whole leaving thing is complicated. Also worth mentioning, Chivas, with what they were looking for, they want a loan with no option to buy, and it's going to be really hard for any club to accept that because it feels like you send them the player, they use him, he improves, and then they have to give him back. So it's not that appealing. In the Mexican market, that's the kind of deal Chivas was aiming for. And that's why I'm telling you, it looks like at the end of the day, Hugo Camberos is going to stay. And again, that's really good news. Hopefully, Hugo Camberos makes the most of it and the coaching staff finds the position where he can really help the team. Ricardo Marín had a pretty big slip up on social media. I don't know if he did it himself or if someone else did. I don't know if someone at Chivas called him out over it, but he posted a photo and a post where he basically confirmed on Facebook that he's coming back to Chivas. I mean, we all know it already, but usually Chivas likes to be the one to make it official. Look, there's Ricardo Marín saying someone is ready to come back. Now, besides the little belly, he posted a picture of his daughter from behind wearing the Chivas jersey number 19 and it says Marín. And it's obvious when 4K left the sacred flock, his wife was pregnant, time passed, the baby girl was born, and now 4K has this chance to come back. Like I'm telling you, he let it slip because it stayed up on Facebook for a little while and then he backpedaled. They ended up taking it down. I don't really see anything wrong with it, honestly, but it gives me the impression maybe the club called him and said, hey, please take that down, and so on. Because they'll want to go through the whole protocol before announcing it. But hey, who cares? 4K is coming back. He'll be with Chivas. He'll report next Monday and he'll have to earn his spot. No other choice. Under Gabi Milito. What happened at the last owners meeting or owners assembly was definitely a low blow for Chivas and for the owner, Amaury Vergara. because the decisions made there clearly left Chivas at a disadvantage when it comes to competing in the playoffs. And I call it a low blow because even if Amaury Vergara voted against allowing 9 foreigners to be used to play for the title in Mexican soccer next tournament, 9 foreign players on the field, if the majority approved it, the owner of Chivas can't do absolutely anything about it. It's a shame. Honestly, it's a shame that this happened. Chivas won't have any other option, and I don't think it's wrong to fight for it, to go for it, to try to pull it off despite everything. That's what the front office is working on, specifically to bring in players who aren't being considered or won't be considered for the World Cup, who can keep this team strong. So I think they made a good call with Quade, with Brian, and the rest. Well, it is what it is. That's the hand Chivas was dealt. Again, even if Amaury Vergara voted against it, if everyone voted in favor, there's no way to reverse that. Anyway, cheap shot from the owners toward Amaury Vergara. Meanwhile, Chivas is still really struggling with where and how to place the players they're trying to move, the ones who maybe aren't really in the plans anymore for the Guadalajara team. Alan Mozo, Alan Pulido, especially Pulido. And it's like teams can look, they can ask around, they can inquire. But Chivas went on vacation 2 weeks ago and nothing's been finalized. Nothing's been finalized when it comes to an exit. And it's not easy because the salary they'd have to take on is big. And I get the feeling, especially again with Alan Pulido, that the Sacred Flock is going to end up giving in. Like, alright, I'll loan him to you for a year so his contract runs out and I'll cover 70 or 80% of his salary. You also have to add Danny Rios to that because they basically don't know what to do with him anymore. They've sent him here, they've sent him there. No team triggers the purchase option. And look, he didn't do badly with Vancouver. This year he was pretty solid, pretty consistent. But even so, we saw a few days ago on the team's website that they themselves decided not to exercise the purchase option. So the outlook gets heavy, it gets tough, and there's Mr. Alejandro Manso working on it, trying to solve that situation for Chivas. Because keeping them at the club, just because you can't find them a team, brings a lot of issues, among other things. They can start stirring up drama because obviously they won't play and they might not care at all. Anyway, everything we already know. So hopefully soon they start shipping those Chivas players off. Here, there, wherever. And there are some really interesting Mexican-Argentine players who could be on Guadalajara's radar. And I was talking in a previous video about a kid named Tiago Gigena. He's 20 years old, he's 1.90 meters tall, he's got good physical tools, and he plays as a center forward. And his current club is New Soul Boys in the age-limited division. Check this out, these are his highlights online, and honestly, they look interesting. Sometimes the one getting on the end of a header, that's him. That one didn't go well, but let's see now. Next, he's going to try another header and look what happens. He goes to the back post. Keep an eye on him, huh? Here comes the cross. Now the cross comes in. There it is, you see. He gets free, he wins it. And in one of his biggest strengths, of course, is heading. He's one of those classic box strikers. That doesn't mean Chivas has to go sign him. No. It's just one of those options in foreign markets that Chivas has tapped into a lot in recent years. And it could help you. Here, I think it could be aimed at the club's youth academy. just like they did with Sotaldi, for example, who they signed to rebuild his game and have him play for Tapatio. Well, there are some Mexican-Argentines in South American leagues who could be interesting. And here too, look at this first-time finish. Anyway, Tiago Gigena has some nice things, and well, I don't know. I don't know if Chivas is interested in him or not. I'm just showing you another player option. Look, here comes another shot that goes in, he just taps it home. One of those guys out there around the world who, having dual nationality, could play for the sacred flock. And heads up, he was born in Oaxaca. The vacation is just about to end for Chivas. It'll be on the next day, December 15th. On December 15th, everyone will be back here in Guadalajara to continue and start working with the team. That day will clear up a lot of doubts, new faces, people we didn't see anymore, players who left. I mean, a lot will be cleared up, a lot. And we'll have to keep a close eye there, both at Verde Valle and at Dr. Rafael Ortega's clinic, on which players show up and which don't. After that, the team will go away for a few days to train outside the city, and then they'll come back to wrap up their preparation for the next tournament. The schedule around that still isn't very clear, but it's a fact that some players will be looking for their best version in this preseason to compete the best way possible next tournament. Today, the first leg of the Mexican soccer final is played as Tigres host Toluca. A brand new final matchup. This final has never happened before in Mexican soccer, so you have to see it as an unprecedented final. It's the first time it's ever happened. They have met in other rounds, they've faced each other in quarterfinals, in semifinals, but not in a final like this. So it's the first time in history that Toluca and Tigres face each other at this stage in Mexican soccer. If Toluca wins the title, they tie Chivas with 12 championships. If Tigres wins, they tie Cruz Azul with 9. Keep an eye on that, keep an eye on it. Alright, we'll leave this video here. Thank you so much for your attention. Keep subscribing, commenting, sharing, hitting like, and I'll see you next time. I'm Jesus Bernal. Bye.